say? Management, Station Manager Janelle Reeves. Any particular denomination or religion? The mailman, the church lady, or anyone else of sound mind and body. Now, here's the Talk of the Heartland with Mac McKoy on KCRO, the Heartland's Christian voice.
Good afternoon. It is the Wednesday edition of Talk of the Heartland. I'm Mac McKoy, and this is the 14th day of September in the Lord's year 2022. I put the date on there because we have a tremendous amount of listenership on our webcast, and I want everybody to know the date of the program. So sometime you might hear this program again played, and it'll say that date, but obviously that'll be a different date, huh? Welcome to the program today. This is going to be a really good program, especially if you are a music fan. Now, if you're not a big fan of music, that's okay too. Because who I've got in my studio is the author and musician for a company called Little Bird Studios. His name is Patrick Osborne, and I think you're going to love some of these stories. You know, I was telling Patrick, or welcome, Patrick.
Thank you. Thanks, Mac, for having me on.
You bet. Thanks for being here. You know, one of the things I don't like about buying music online and downloading it on my phone or my player, whatever it is, I miss opening the CD cover or the album cover and reading the stories behind the song. Billy Joel was always really good at that. Mercy Me is really good about that. So today we're going to play you 2 or 3 songs, and I guarantee you're going to love them. They're Christian songs, and Patrick's going to be able to kind of explain where that story comes from. So let's start with a song that you have called Prodigal Son. Tell us a little bit about it, then we'll play it, and then whatever you want to add later, we can do that.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that one, a very popular parable that most of you probably know. But this version is the story written from the father's point of view. And it really came out of a real tough situation in my life. I had not been a good dad and stressed and broken a relationship with one of my sons. And, you know, you finally wake up, and that's a real painful thing to realize, and those things don't mend overnight. And anyway, so this is my take on what happened with one of my sons, and it follows much of the prodigal son story. And the lyrics kind of go in a circle. The beginning of it, the father cries as his son leaves, and then when he returns, the lyrics come back to the same place. But that's the take on this one, and that kind of came out of a painful situation in my own life that I created that was healed, and God was merciful. And
I have a very similar situation, but I won't talk about that now. I want to leave the time for you. But this song meant something to me when I listened to it for the very same reason.
Yeah.
So, congratulations. All right, folks, this is on Little Bird Music Studios, and this song is called Prodigal Son. Now, what's the website again? littlebirdmusicstudios.com.
Right. And the downloads are free. It's on Spotify. So you're welcome to go there and listen to any of it and download what you like.
All right, this is Prodigal Son from Patrick Osborne here on KCRO.
His son packed all his things And then he said goodbye. He headed down the road to start another life. He was gone. He was gone. His father watched him go, and tears soon filled his eyes. Memories flooded in, and sorrow overcame him, and he cried. Oh, and he cried. And he cried out to the Lord, please protect my precious son, and watch over him wherever he may roam. Protect him as he travels down the road. His son moved far away and soon was living like a king. He gathered lots of friends and the best of everything his gold could buy. Oh, his gold could buy. But his wild and reckless living one day came to an end. He ran out of money, oh, then he ran out of friends. They said goodbye. They said goodbye. And he had lived his life like there'd be no tomorrow. But tomorrow eventually arrived. He had played the fool, and now he paid the price. Father watched the seasons slowly come and fade away. Through many long and sleepless nights he got on his knees to pray. Oh, he would pray. Oh, let me pray. Sank into poverty and lost everything that he owned. 'Twas a destitute but a wiser son. He walked a lonesome road back to his home. He was going home. From afar his father saw him, and he thanked the Lord above, who watched over him and kept his son alive. And he ran out to embrace him, and he cried. And he cried.
AM660 and FM 106.7 in Lincoln and all around the world. We are KCRO Omaha. I'm Mac McKoy on Talk of the Heartland, and you just heard a song called Prodigal Son. And the writer of that song is here in the studio today, Patrick Osborne. But you also may recognize that voice, especially if you ever went to Kirk Dodd's West Side Baptist Church here in Omaha, because for years he was the music director. Is that right? So tell us a little bit more about that song.
Well, I was looking for a voice with a little bit of an edge to tell the story, and Ben just did a great job. He's now in charge of the 402 Collective. He's got a studio, they do recording, they do lessons, and encourage young musicians. It's a really neat ministry. But I just thought his voice was perfect for the vocal. Now there is another local musician on there that you may recognize. Ron Cooley plays the guitar and the bass, and you might know his name from Mannheim Steamroller. Ron started with Chip when he began way back when they did the Fresh Air stuff, and toured with him for years. And I got to meet him through another friend, and we just kind of connected. And Ron is on, I would say, most of the tunes on the website. He's just an amazing talent, the guy here that's played all over the world. And I just always marveled when I got him in the studio for everywhere he played and the reputation that he had. You didn't have to peel off 27 layers of ego to work with him in the studio. He's just a great guy, down to earth, and with his talent always added something to the mix and what we were doing.
And is he still here in the metro area?
Yeah, he plays with a little jazz group occasionally, Susie Thorne. Okay. And if you look them up on the web, they play quite a bit, but he's retired from Mannheim now.
And so, okay, he's retired from Mannheim.
Right. He's not touring with them anymore.
Yeah, probably a family man.
Yeah, and then getting older there, wanting to enjoy the grandkids. And,
you go.
Some of that, too.
Yeah, perfect reason. All right, and just so you know, I just found Benjamin and his wife, Lindsay, on Facebook, and so they are there under Benjamin Schaefer, Schafer. Now, you're on Facebook also. You're on the web with littlebirdmusicstudios.com.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to play a song called Little Bird, and Patrick will help us to understand the story behind that while he wrote it, and then you'll get a chance to listen to it. It's a wonderful day. It's kind of a hymn day. And I don't mean HIM, but it's a hymn day that way too. But it's also a hymn day as we're listening to amazing hymns. And we are blessed to have the writer of those hymns to tell us what those songs are all about. I'm Mac McKoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. I do love this job, and I love you. And I thank you for listening to AM 660 and FM 106.7. and all around the world at KCRO.com.
The ministries you listen to every day here on KCRO all have one thing in common. They're all working to bring souls to Christ. Many of the ministries that do such a fine job of sharing the word of the Lord never know the impact they have on their listeners' lives. So today, take a minute and let your favorite program know they are making a difference. If you need contact information for a specific program, you can call us here and we'd be glad to help. Thanks for listening, and God bless.
I'm Joyce Meyer, and I want to encourage you to listen to Enjoying Everyday Life Monday through Friday right here on this station. My program is full of practical biblical teaching that will build your faith and equip you to enjoy your life. I love to share God's Word with you. It's His Word that allows us to have victory in this life right now. His Word sets us free. Be sure to listen to Enjoying Everyday Life right here daily so you can be blessed and encouraged.
5:45 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 10 p.m. on KCRO.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline has a new number, 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Sundays at 5 p.m. on KCRO. Tune in to Breaking Bread with Cheryl Fisher of JC Overcomers Ministries.
We go to the grocery store and we buy regular bread. And so he shows this picture within the scriptures about how he compares his spiritual food to our physical food.
Breaking Bread with Cheryl Fisher. Sundays at 5 p.m. on KCRO. 660 AM in Omaha and 106.7 FM in Lincoln. And online at kcro.com.
The Heartland's Christian Voice. KCRO.
It's a Wednesday, the 14th day of September in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McKoy, and this is the talk and the music of the Heartland on KCRO. We're playing some music today. We have the author in the studio. His name is Patrick Osborne, and the studios are called Little Bird Music Studios. He is from Omaha, been in Omaha all of your life?
Just about. Grew up across the river and came over here after high school. And
Okay.
Been here since then.
All right. And one of the things I just love to do, and I really thank you for being here because I really do love to do this, I love to sit down and talk to the person who wrote the music and the song. And so what was your inspiration for Little Bird?
Well, that one's kind of reflective, and it's about grieving and loss and about things that don't get fixed on this side, but with a hope at the end that eventually those things will be. My gift, my spiritual gift, is mercy. So people that are down, brokenhearted, that group kind of appeals to me in terms of ministry and the messaging in the music, and you'll find that theme repeated. But there's a story with Little Bird. When I first started putting the music together and had enough for a CD, I was trying to figure out where to market this. And one of the other songs, Penitent Man, is about a guy that made a train wreck of his life. And
I resemble that remark.
And it's anyway. So I went out to a couple of the local trucking companies and packaged a CD and asked them if they would listen to the music, and if they liked it, if they'd let me distribute the CDs free of charge to the truckers and the people they were associated with. I went a couple of places, and that door was just shut. Nobody even responded. So I'm thinking, all right, what do I do with this? So some of you know the Sapp Brothers and the Sapp Brothers Cafe out there.
Very good Christian family.
Yeah, it used to be a mom and pop place. I think there's a chain in there now. But anyway, so I thought, well, I'm just going to go out and hand some of these out at the restaurant and go have breakfast and see how that goes. So I went out one morning and going to have breakfast, and I had a handful of CDs, and there's a waitress out there that had a smile that just lit the room up, and she was nice and cordial, and you could tell these guys really liked her. So I sat down, had breakfast, and I got to know this gal, and told her what I was up to and gave her a CD. She loved the music. She especially liked Little Bird. And the story behind what happened, what brought her to Omaha, she was married to a successful pastor for a number of years, and somehow the alcohol got a hold of him and ruined his ministry, and they had separated. She was hoping the Lord would intervene, and Anyway, one afternoon he had called her and wanted her to come and talk to her. And she just had a feeling she shouldn't go. Well, she didn't. And the guy committed suicide that afternoon. And when the police came, they found another bullet in the gun, and they all surmised he was going to shoot her and then take his own life.
So there's only 2 bullets in the gun.
Well, there was only one left.
One left.
Yeah. And she felt that God had spared her from that. And again, the songs she liked, Little Bird was one of the first ones we did. And again, the subject matter is grieving and loss. And I want to follow up, though, with that relationship after the song. But she kind of helped me make some connections that really, really helped with the distribution.
Can we have her first name? Are you okay with that?
I'd rather not. She
Okay.
came here to be close to family, and she was in a grief support group. And a couple of years ago, she was moving over to Iowa to be closer to family. And but she was there at the time, and I'll tell you the rest of the story after the song.
It's Little Bird, and it's from Little Bird Music Studios.
Right.
Well, you know where we got that name, too, don't we?
I guess we do.
And the writer here is Patrick Osborne, and here's what it sounds like, just for you, here on KCRO.
Little bird with a broken wing used to lift his voice on high, but the song he used to sing has been replaced with a lonesome cry. There are wounds the eye can't see, far below the shallow waves, but in the darkness where we grieve, there we find sustaining grace. For while we're on this side of Jordan, those broken wings, they don't always mend. But there's a promise that across that river, those little wings will fly again. Oh, how fragile life can be. A candle flickers, flickering in the wild, but oh, our Father's steadfast love will sustain us through our every trial. There are some things while on this side of Jordan that are not here, and we sometimes suffer loss until the time that we pass over. We must take them to the cross. We must leave them at the cross. There are golden streets in glory, make all the hosts of heaven rise up and sing. For over there we'll leave behind our sorrow, and over there our tears will all be dried, and over there that little bird will fly again. Yes, he will soar in heaven's skies. Oh, he will soar in heaven's skies. Little bird, oh, little bird, oh, little bird.
AM 660 and FM 106.7 in Lincoln and all around the world at kcro.com. That is a song written by the gentleman I have in the studio here. His name is Patrick Osborne, and it is sung by Elaine Stoner, and her husband, Chad, is a pastor, we believe, here in Omaha, or do we know?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's the pastor of Stony Brook Church, and wow, and he's a saxophonist.
He
said.
plays sax, yes.
All right. Well, I think everybody just found, and I'm not kidding, I think everybody just found the song they're going to play at a loved one's funeral. Little Bird is Beautiful. But tell me the rest of the story about it.
Yeah, and it has been. I've had a number of requests. Yeah, for that. The waitress really liked the music, and I had an idea, and I said, well, okay, what if I burn some CDs and package them so they look really nice, like they're professionally done, and we make a nice little box and put it by the cash register with a sign that says free CDs for truckers. And she said, okay, we'll do it. And if somebody just says, get rid of it, we'll get rid of it. Well, I knew the Sapp brothers were very generous to a lot of Christian organizations, and they came in there for lunch.
Including this one, by the way.
Yeah, and so I thought they're going to see this sooner or later. But we started doing that, and I would go out every week and take new CDs and fill that box up because they were disappearing. And nobody said, take it away or anything. I did this for almost a year.
Wow.
Now, in the parking lot across from the restaurant, there was a trailer, a little truck stop chapel. They have these all over the country, little guys, mom and pop ministries that minister to those guys. And he had a bunch of literature, and I thought, well, here's another avenue. So I took a bunch to him to hand out during the services. One of those CDs got to a fellow that has a local ministry, and they provide materials for other ministries. They liked the music, and over the next 2 years, distributed over 47,000 free CDs through their ministry network, mainly to truckers and people in the transportation industry, all given away free. And it was amazing. And I think he would have continued if I'd had more music. We just kind of saturated the market. And
wow.
That was just...
So I don't want to embarrass you, but that's at least $47,000 worth of product. And I don't mean retail. I mean just to make them, right? Or am I too low?
No, something close to that.
Okay. And so that's what your contribution was, along with the music.
Yeah. And they
Well,
paid
are you
for...
a special guy in heaven?
Oh, no, they were, that's a blessing. That was just a gift from God.
Yeah. Oh, my, yeah. Really? So how many do you think you've given away?
Oh.
100,000?
Well, not that many, but
Okay.
a lot.
That's awesome. All right. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, Our next song is going. Was that the whole story? Want to make sure
For
we got
that
it?
one, yep.
Okay.
That's it for Little Bird.
All right. So then, when we come back, we're going to hear a song called "Woman at the Well." But between, if you wait when we get back, about 2 minutes from now, I'm also going to ask Patrick some other stories about what's him inspires him to write at all, and some of the other things that I hope you'd like to know about songs, about someone who writes songs, who you can go online and listen to and have complimentary, because that's how much he loves you, and that's how much he loves Jesus. So we'll continue. 2 minutes, I'll be back here with Patrick Osborne on AM 660 and FM 106.7 in Lincoln, and, of course, all around the world, of course, here on KCRO.
Truth University.
I believe many of us long to experience a greater reality of God's presence and God's power. I believe many of us want to know Christ in a greater way. I believe our hearts all need to be revived, but so few voices are going to bring us to that place where we can see revival again in our land. Amen.
Truth University with Pastor Aaron Trimble of West Point Family Worship Center. Saturdays at 4 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 8:30 on KCRO.
With inflation at a staggering 8.5%, Heartland Hope Mission is serving 45% more people through our food pantry. The good news is you can help make a difference. You can drop off food donations to our South Omaha location at 21st and U, or to our West Omaha location at 155th and Industrial Road. Donations can also be made online at heartlandhopemission.org. Heartland Hope Mission, we're more than a pantry.
When you're having discussions around the family dinner table, does the topic of transgenderism come up? Probably not. So where are our kids learning about this social agenda that's contrary to God's Word? Who's controlling the narrative? Could our kids be living and acting out a new gender identity without our knowledge? Please join me, Debbie Blank, Sundays and Mondays at 5:30 p.m. for this important discussion that's impacting our children today.
Now your forecast for KCRO for Omaha, Council Bluffs, and Lincoln. Mainly cloudy skies tonight with a low of 68. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. High temperatures reach up to 88 tomorrow. Mainly cloudy skies expected. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow night. Lows level off around 65. Overcast. Temperatures a bit above average Friday and Saturday with highs in the mid-80s. Thunderstorms possible both days. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley on KCRO. Right now, 89.
KCRO.
Good afternoon. It's the 14th day of September in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McKoy, and this is the Talk of the Heartland. Of course, that's one of my favorite songs, but the only place you're going to hear that is probably either on this radio station during my show, or if you watch the mini-series, which is what I call it. It's called The Chosen, and it is the most accurate and amazingly entertaining story of Jesus. It is so right on with the Bible that it is becoming known worldwide as perhaps the first, we hope not the last, but it certainly is the first series or even one movie I've ever seen in my life which you can actually just follow the Bible. I'll give you an example. I think it's the third episode, which is a story, or maybe it's the second, about how Mary Magdalene found the Lord, or Jesus found her. And that's how Nicodemus got involved. And one of the scenes in this movie, a miniseries, is that 5-minute, and I want to cry every time I talk about this, because you watch it. It's on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and put Chosen Nicodemus, and it's the moment that the top Pharisee in the Jewish world, discovered that he was standing before the Messiah, and it's just incredible. All right, so my guest today is Patrick Osborne. He is do you call yourself a songwriter, or are you an author, or?
Probably songwriter, producer.
Producer. All right. Yeah, because you produce all these in your studios.
Well, not mine. There's a guy named Tim Tyler, and the other studio's Tom Ware, the local guys.
And is it a commercial studio here in town, or is it their private studio?
Well, Tim's, after he retired, he had a small studio in his basement and just did a number of smaller clients. Tom's I guess is better known. He had sound recording studios, which was a place where Chip started. C.W. McCall.
Yeah,
there's downtown by the Med Center, and Tom.
I remember that.
Yeah, Tom ran this for a number of years, and then a couple of years ago with the COVID, there were no venues for musicians, and so nobody's recording, and Tom opted to sell it and moved his studio into a small little place on Lake Manawa, and he's keeping a few clients, and I'm privileged to be one of them. Tom was nominated for a Grammy for his sound mixing. He's just amazing, just amazing.
I don't know if this is correct, so if it's not correct, it's my bad memory, but years ago I was on 1290 Coil for a while. And C.W. McCall came in my studio, and I interviewed him. And there was another gentleman with him who wouldn't speak, but he said it. All I remember is it was something about a studio, and I don't remember his name. But I'll bet it was him, because that would have been 78.
That might have been before Tom owned it.
Okay.
But he was the most recent. And talk about a gift. This whole journey of writing in that, the musicians that I've been able to work with has just been a gift. They say if you want to get better at something, go find people that are better than you are and learn from them.
Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
But your intro there on The Chosen, this next song kind of follows what they did. They tried to recreate the backstory of some of these people that met the Lord. And the woman at the well, that's kind of what I've done. Now, all we're told about in that story is she had 5 husbands, and the guy she was living with at the time was not. So you think about that culture and what would cause that? Was she just good looking and when that ran out, the guys passed her on? Was she a gold digger looking to acquire something? Women back then didn't own property. They were,
that was some ways the only way they could make any money.
Yeah, and so there's just a real question about that. But the story that I tried to create of her, I connected to somebody that had been used and left, and I have a connection with the prison ministry. I worked with that for a number of years, and Joy Stevens and Eunice Arendt are the women's chaplains. Okay. And Joy got involved with a gal that had done a master's study on women in prison and how they get there and the problems, and developed a curriculum for trauma counseling and to give to volunteers who wanted to go into helping the women in prisons. And I used to see Joy occasionally at Panera's. She'd come in once in a while for coffee. And when I was working on this tune, I told her what it was about. And when I finally got the lyrics done, I gave them to her one morning and asked her to read them. And she just burst into tears after she read it. And she said, "This is who I minister to every single day." Wow. So I knew I had something there. I wanted to do it. This one has a little bit of an edge to fit the message. This is the third time I've done it. The first couple times around, they were it was too much like a Hallmark card, too soft and syrupy, and it just didn't fit, because you want those lyrics and the music to fit like a hand in a glove. They need to go together. So this has got a little more of an edge, and Joy said that's fine. These women don't do soft and fuzzy.
Right.
So anyway, so we're hoping that that'll get used in the prison ministry, and after this is done, there's a track that I did that follows that story that I can tell you after we finish. But this is The Woman at the Well, and my daughter-in-law, Sarah Osborne, sings this. She's on the worship team at Westside on the rotation, and we get to hear her a couple times a month. But
that's got to make you proud.
Oh, it does. I have to go to church those Sundays.
So your son married up is what you're telling me.
Well, I wouldn't say that on radio, but he did very well.
All right, and we're going to hear that song called Woman at the Well, written by this gentleman to my left, Patrick Osborne, sung by his daughter-in-law. We'll hear that in 3.5 minutes here on AM 660 and FM 106.7 and all around the world. Yep, on KCRO.
Why is it so hard to know right from wrong these days? Thursday on Truth for Life, Alistair Begg explains.
There is no, in the minds of contemporary philosophy, there is no objective basis whereby we can deduce right from wrong.
We are a culture in crisis. Discover the solution Thursday on Truth for Life.
Truth for Life with Alistair Begg. Weekday mornings at 8 on KCRO, 660 AM in Omaha and 106.7 FM in Lincoln.
The Salvation Army Croc Center Omaha is at the center of it all. From a full range of fitness activities to youth programs to community spaces and more, there's no better place in the metro for the whole family. Now we're inviting you to join in the fun and enjoy summer savings while they last. Sign up now during our membership drive and we'll waive the registration fee. The Croc Center is just moments away from the Kennedy Freeway and Q Street, so join today. Go to omahacroc.org for more information. That's omahakroc.org.
You are invited to tune in every Sunday right here on AM 660 KCRO for the Covenant Church live broadcast at 11 a.m. Covenant Church is located at 150th and Blondo Street in Omaha. The mission of Covenant is to know Christ and to make Him known. For more information, go to covenantomaha.church. That's covenantomaha.church. Or visit in person and bring the family to the 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. service. Come find a place where you can belong. Come home to Covenant.
100 years KCRO.
It is the 14th day of September in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McKoy, and this is the talk and the song today of the Heartland here on AM 660 and FM 106.7. In my studio today, I have Patrick Osborne, who is the author and producer of a whole bunch of just beautiful Christian songs. And we've played a couple of them for you, and now with your permission, we're going to play one called Woman at the Well, and it's a little upbeat because it's about women who are in prison and the story they have behind them. And it's sung by his daughter-in-law, Sarah Osborne, who is also in the music department at Westside. Boy, Westside, Dodd sure does get all the good musicians, doesn't he? So we're going to hear the song, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. And that's here. Gosh, what a great place to be today, listening to this music. I just love this. Here on AM 660 and FM 106.7 and all around the world. Love this job on KCRO.
She was young and beautiful, her heart was full of dreams, but she found out much too early, love's not always what it seems. Painful was the lesson, that's the way when love is blind. He told her that he loved her, then left her far behind. That was long ago and very far away, but the road it set her on led her far astray. She carries her remorse, it is buried deep inside. Would never be the same, no matter how she cried. Where do you go when you're weary and tired? Weary and don't want to go on. Where do you turn in the dark of the night when you're waiting for the dawn? The lovers in her life never stay for very long. After taking what they wanted, they simply moved along. And still she looked for love and all their promises and lies. In the hours before dawn, in the darkness she would cry. She awoke and she was thirsty and had to go for water in the middle of the day. No one there would bother. A hardened heart had helped her cope and push away the pain. She had never found redemption, and it was far too late to change. Where do you go when you're weary and tired? Weary and don't want to go on. Where do you turn in the dark of the night when you're waiting for the dawn? A stranger waited at the well. It took her by surprise that he knew so much about her. Her shame began to rise. He could see beneath her wounds. He knew everywhere she'd been. She expected condemnation, but he had come to cleanse. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Come take a drink of the water of life. Jesus is calling your name. Doesn't matter what you've done, doesn't matter where you've been. He is calling your
Oh, you feeling like I'm feeling listening to that? I hope so. That is phenomenal. It's called The Woman at the Well, and it was written by Patrick Osborne, who is a guest in my studio today from Omaha, and that was sung by Sarah Osborne, his daughter-in-law, who is one of the musicians and singers at Mr. Dodd's church, Pastor Dodd's church, their Westside Baptist, just off of Dodge here in Omaha. Wow. Wow.
Well, that one...
And now, hold on, I want to back up. Because you said that when that was originally recorded, it was kind of softer and...
Actually, yeah, if you remember Little Bird, Elaine Stoner, I had her do the first vocal on the first version, and it was way too much like a Hallmark card, just way too soft and syrupy, and to make the message, it just needed to have more of an edge. That just didn't work. So I redid that twice, and this is the third time round. And Sarah sang that live at the Good News Jail and Prison Ministry banquet this year, along with another tune. And she's just got a great voice.
Did you have to hand out hankies?
I there's a guy at Westside that's involved with the prison ministry who was there, and he said it brought tears to his eyes.
Oh yeah.
So
I've done prison ministry. Jesus just mugged me 13 years ago, but I'm also drawn to prison ministry, and so haven't got ready to do that here in Nebraska, but I did in Iowa. And what you learn about God's grace is just amazing. Some of these people have committed the worst things possible, and yet God still chose them and called them, and that's the size of God's grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to wrap up for today.